welcome to Tiny Table Talk for The Challenge, Season 36, Double Agents, Episode 10. Now, in this Tiny Table Talk, we're going to be looking into Devin's strategy for this episode. We're also going to be looking into the sneak peek at the end of the aftermath and going into what the security breach could be, doing a breakdown on Amber v. Amber's Hall Brawl, and of course, going over some of the comments from my Thursday's review and recap. So, without further ado, in this episode of The Challenge, we saw that Devin and Gabby won into the double agent spot, and Devin had many plans that he wanted to accomplish, but because he has Gabby, because the numbers in the house are against him, he could not do anything. And I think this is an important thing to remember about the double agent power. I mean, it only gets you so much power. I think he was already walking a fine line, but with trying to do too much this episode, it really put himself in a lot of people's sights, and he's walking a tightrope. And ultimately, he only has one person that has his back in this game, and that is his partner. And she was super frustrated with him this whole episode. I think I get why he wants to take a shot at Josh. I understand why he wants to take a shot at the numbers in Big Brother. It's just not doable. And that's why in this episode, I think he got stopped in his tracks. I mean, once he gets into that secret deliberation with Gabby, and after pushing so much for Josh and Nany, and seeing that the compromised agents are Amber, Em, and Corey, I mean, that's like hitting a brick wall. That's showing he does not have the power that he thought he had coming into this episode. I do think that he would have had more power if it was being a guy's day. I think possibly that would have helped out his leverage and his strategy. I think he should have pushed Gabby to go into the elimination. And I think Gabby should have pushed herself going into the elimination. Ultimately, in the aftermath, we heard from Devin that Gabby didn't want to go in because she saw it was a Hall Brawl. She pointed to her face saying, "I don't want to hurt this." If she would have pushed herself to go into the elimination, it would have helped her game, and the same with Devin, I think, because Gabby going into the elimination, facing off against Amber M, winning, then she does exactly what she said she was going to do in the beginning of this episode and say she picks Fessy to be her partner. Then that leaves Anissa deciding who she wants to be paired up against. Would she want to be paired up with Devin, or she wants to be paired up with Corey? She is not working with Devin. She does not like Devin. She has more rapport and she likes Corey a lot more. Granted, Corey has the curse. He's the Reaper of the season. But I think she throws that all away because she knows she can work with Corey. And that gives Devin an extra week. He gets passed on the next guy's day, which is next week. He's the rogue agent. And then he is flying by the next 2 weeks, and maybe his threat level or his skull that everybody's looking at is kind of died down a little bit. But I think this just really settles in that people are going to be easy to say his name when it comes down to it. I mean, him and Kyle and CT were the only ones to vote with him or vote the way he wanted to, and then he was rubbing Cam and everybody the wrong way by pushing for Josh and Nany. I just think I did not like this at all from Devin, and I think that it was a very big miscue. Now, in the sneak peek for next week, we get to see a little bit of the next daily challenge, which is called Mission Airlift. We've seen it in the mid-season teaser. We've seen it in all the promos and trailers at the beginning of the season. We also get a voiceover from CT in this sneak peek saying that he doesn't have a lot of opportunities to get his gold skull. Not a lot of people are going to help him try to get his gold skull, and time is running out. So possibly CT is going to be trying to make some moves to get his gold skull next week from the foreshadowing that's happening in this sneak peek. We also get Nam and Lolo having yet another conversation about their team dynamic, and Lolo is crying, breaking down, saying she doesn't know how much longer she can deal with this miscommunication. And then we get a voiceover from somebody. Will Lolo just leave? Then once we move a little bit further into the sneak peek, we see that there is going to be a security breach at the crater. Last time we had a security breach, Natalie Anderson had to leave the game and Ashley came back into the game, which means that somebody is most likely going to be leaving the game. Now, from the sneak peek, we're led to believe that possibly it could be Lolo. just not being able to handle what's going on in the season. She can't handle being with Nam. She can't handle it anymore and she wants to leave. But we also have to remember that in this past week's daily challenge, Nam talked about tweaking his lower back. Now, we didn't get a whole lot of it in the rest of this episode. There wasn't a whole lot of talk about his back. He wasn't like icing it. I mean, it didn't seem like it was that much of an injury that he really hurt himself, but maybe because the security breach is happening at the crater, meaning at the end of the episode, something happens in this daily challenge that maybe he tweaks it a little bit more, or possibly that's just all a red herring in itself and somebody else gets hurt at the daily challenge and somebody else is leaving. Now, if it is Nam leaving this game because of his back or because of an injury, we have to look into, okay, what guy would be coming back? Michi was the last guy to be eliminated, but after what TJ said about his poor performance in his elimination, possibly not going to be Michi coming back into this game. Then again, Jay could come back into this game, or maybe even Nelson. I mean, that seems like forever and a half ago. But I mean, those three options are still open for the guys. I think Jay or Nelson most likely would be coming back. I feel like Jay would come back before any of those two just because it was the most recent and he is a vet. Now, on the opposite side, if it is Lolo leaving this game, I know Teresa was the most recent woman to be eliminated from the game. However, there was talks about how she was mentally checked out of the game, and also there's talks that she was injured heading into the elimination against Casey and that she had to go in for surgery once she was eliminated from the season. So there's no way she would be coming back. That only leaves the most recent other woman to be eliminated from the game is Ashley. Would Ashley come back for yet another time? I don't think so, just for the sole fact that TJ, when she was eliminated, was like, okay, that's it. You're definitely gone. You're definitely eliminated and you're not coming back this season. I have no idea what could occur. I don't know why the security breach is happening so late in the episode to the crater. Like, why? What could happen? I don't know. I'm just expecting somebody to leave, somebody to come back into the game, and I think it could be Michi, J, or Nelson, and that's my guess. Here we go into this week's Hall Brawl. Now, if we take a look, we have both these competitors who are having the same name but couldn't be any more different. We have Amber M on one side, who is small and not very physical, and on the other side, we have Amber B, who is tall and who is very physical. We saw her in the cargo net, and she also talked about how she played rugby before. So it seems as though that she is angry and she is ready to play, and we're going to put a little Xy face on there. We're going to have this play out a little bit now. We have them off running, and we'll see the initial contact here where Amber B is putting Amber M to sleep for a nappy nap, and we can see Amber B singing her a lullaby. And then we're going to play this out a little bit more here, and Amber B is up, and we have Amber M doing a little bit of slap fighting before they all push off and running. Now we see Amber B runs with her long strides. She is able to get to the entranceway where Amber M is now at a very bad impasse here, because that is the entranceway, and Amber B, every time she's running, she is just trying to get as far and too close to where she has to get to every single time. Now, Amber M, we see here, Amber M's balls are silver, Amber B's balls are black, so Amber M here takes the wrong ball by mistake. Now, people were thinking, oh, she fumbled it, she should be taking the ball, but realistically, she had that realization that right here, that she took the wrong ball. So she is doing this classic dump and run as she drops the ball and heads back to her side. We can see here that Amber M is bug-eyed. She is trying to get her ball also while looking back, where Amber B is always right there. She is thinking right here, what did I get myself into? And then we have TJ in the background going, hey, you're done for. Like, this is already accounted for. All right, we're gonna play this out. Amber B is right behind her, getting another point. She is running, and we can see, boom, this is where we have Amber M having her grand stand, and we can see Amber B is looking at that ball going like, that is my ticket to win, that is my last goal I need, and Amber M is thinking, my gosh, somebody help. She throws her down with her arm, and this is where we get this roughhousing a little bit. This is like sisters roughhousing. We have Cam saying they fighting, but really, are they really fighting though? I have to call shenanigans on that. They are just like tumbling over each other. We saw Fessy and Nelson kind of like doing some dirty. This isn't dirty at all. Now we're taking a look at this. There's no sense of urgency towards the end of this Hall Brawl. We have Amber M crawling after she trips over her own feet. Amber B is fumbling the ball after it touches the wall. My goodness, this is the final moments of this Hall Brawl, and there's just like they're jogging through this hall back to back behind each other, and this is it. This is Amber B giving Amber M a little bit of shove out the door. This is her parting gift as she is shoving her, doing that last minute shove out here, and Amber B is just having her eyes just completely on the winning goal, and we have TJ laughing out here, just ready to blow that horn for the final point. And that was it. Amber B wins this easily, and it is over. All right, now let's get to some of the comments from my Thursday's review and recap. And the first comment comes from Gina, who gives an emoji interpretation to this week's elimination of Amber B and Amber M in the Hall Brawl. And I have to say that I love this. I kind of want this to be a reoccurring theme of like putting emoji interpretations to the eliminations or daily challenges or somebody's performance or something that happens within the episode. I just really like this idea. And the next comment comes from Mason, who says, I had to skip through the Lolo and Nam portions. I can't listen to the same argument over and over again. And Mason goes on to make another comment that says, Lolo wouldn't have a good partnership with any of the guys in the house. It's like, we've been in this game for how many days, how many weeks, and we can't get past this hurdle. We can't talk through it. And it seems as though both are shutting down and both are kind of wanting to give up at this point. I know Nam said that he wants to push through, but Lolo is already shut down, it feels, and Nam may not be giving her as much communication as she would want, and it just seems like there's just such a miscommunication or communication breakdown between them that it's hard to recover this late in the game. And I just don't know who Lolo could link up with and have a good partnership with. I mean, in Champs vs. Pros, she has like a rapport with CT. She has a rapport with Darrell, who are on those seasons. I just don't know how well they would want to work with her because she does have this intensity. And I think that's another reason why they didn't want to vote her into the elimination, or another reason why they don't want to vote her in, because who is she going to pick to be her partner? They're worried about that. If she goes down there and wins and gets her gold skull, who is she going to pick as her partner? And then are they going to be stuck with her throughout the finals? I think that's another reasoning going through everybody's mind. The next comment comes from Ezekiel, who says, did you guys know that Fessy is shy and an introvert? For some reason, I just didn't know. I didn't know. And I'm so glad he has a full story to tell everybody. And it's the same exact story, word for word, whether he's telling it to Corey to get his friendship back or to Gabby getting a smooch. Oh my gosh, it's so annoying. I rolled so hard when I heard the same exact lines and words that he used with Corey with Gabby. The next comment comes from Eric, who says, production spoiled the results of the daily challenge. When Nam and Lolo were talking in the kitchen, you could see clearly that Devin and Gabby had their names at the top of the board. I had no idea this had happened until I went and checked some of the comments in my Thursday's review and recap, and I went back, and my goodness, they do. I feel like there's some people like me that just did not catch it, and it was kind of oblivious. You're not like looking in the background. I will be looking in the background from now on, but I just think that they were hoping that people weren't looking in the background when editing it. But oh my gosh, that is just ridiculous. That is so dumb. You can even just blur it out just even a little bit to make it that much more difficult to see in the background. Oh my gosh. The next comment comes from Angelica, who says, Devin hurt his game more than helped it in this episode. He pissed other people off, including his own partner, and didn't even make a good gameplay out of it. I 100% agree, especially going back to the first topic in this Tiny Table Talk. I mean, he wanted to do so much, and understanding where he's coming from. I mean, he wants to chip away at the Big Brother Alliance, get some of these numbers a little bit more evened out, but having so many numbers on one side, it's really difficult to try to take a shot, especially when those numbers have friends of their own and then they're partners with other people that want them in the game. So it was really difficult, and I think Devin doing the most this episode really hurt his game in the long run. And finally, the last comment comes from Frenchie91, who says, Corey is actually playing smart and is actually lucky these past few episodes. Correct me if I'm wrong, but his partners keep being sent home, and that makes him safe from eliminations. Isn't that a good thing? He convinced Amber M to go into elimination so he could be safe for another week. I see your gameplay, Corey. I do think it is smart. Now, there's tons of people who are thinking that Corey is going to run out of time. He's not going to be able to get his gold skull, and I think that's the kind of risk you run by playing this type of game, by being a rogue agent so much of the time. But also, as you get further and further down the game, I think if you have friends in the house ready to say your name and throw yourself in, I mean, honestly, some of these people only get one shot to get their gold skull. And if you go in too early, that could put a target on your back to being sent in and having your gold skull being taken. So I could see where Corey is like, I'm gonna just keep on getting these partners, having them be sent home. I'll be rogue, and then I'll just go and get my gold skull way late in the game, and maybe I'll be so close to the finals that I won't have to try to like secure it and have to like guard it as much as, say, somebody else who has their gold skull early on. I kind of like it, especially if he can get his gold skull later on in this season. But that is it for this tiny table talk. What do you think about this episode? Let me know that in the comment section below. What do you think is going to happen with the security breach? Let me know that as well. I want to hear everyone's thoughts on what's going to happen with the security breach. That is like the biggest mystery, and I cannot wait to see what's going to happen next week. But thank you so much for watching. While you're down there, hit that like and subscribe button. I'll be back really, really soon with more challenge content, more content in general. But until then, peace.